Chapter 7, Content Marketing Strategy. Delivering business solely through paid marketing activities doesn't take advantage of all the free traffic generation opportunities. Content marketing is a way to build you and your business's status as a leading authority in your industry. It encourages people to interact with and share your thought leadership. It also builds brand recognition. The more that people interact with the content you produce, the more likely that they'll remember you and what you do when they're considering making a purchase decision in the future. Someone completely sold on the necessity to invest more in content is Eric Enge, founder and CEO of Stone Temple Consulting.
Well, my top tip is to invest more in content than you currently are. I think almost everybody this is a good tip for. One of the reasons why I say that is that with all the investments that Google is making in machine learning, what they're getting better and better at understanding is what makes a good page and a good user experience. And from my perspective, that means that they're going to be looking a lot at content quality and the ability of your content to satisfy the breadth of needs that a user has when they arrive on a given page. So if they arrive on a page on your site which is about one particular product, they're going to want to have a complete experience there. So the investment in that content that you put there and the user experience of that page is going to be well worth the money.
So, investing in content marketing is key, but what kind of content do you need to be producing? Mark Traphagen, Senior Director of Brand Evangelism at Stone Temple Consulting, explains.
I think what I'd like to talk about today, and the main thing that I'm looking forward to doing both with Stone Temple and with our clients in the year to come, is to maximize the value of our content marketing. Because content marketing, I think we're all becoming conscious, building content is becoming more and more cost intensive if you're going to do it right. Nobody needs to say anymore that you just can't do schlocky content anymore. It's not worth doing. It doesn't get the attention. Nobody reads it, nobody shares it. It doesn't build any value for you. So if you're going to invest in content, it's going to take investment. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be time consuming to produce something that's worthwhile. So my strategy, my urging to my team and to everybody that we're working with in the coming year is to go for the max, and I call it the triple play. You've got to be striving to build content that does three things and does it all. And that is, one is, we always think about SEO value, and that's a lot of people got into the content game originally just to do that. We thought, you got to have content for Google. You've got to have content to contain your keywords, to give something worth the search engines to look at. But I think hopefully now most of us realize that stopping there is not enough. So second, you want content that's going to also build your brand's value and reputation. So of course, not only SEO value, but once people get there and they start looking at the content and reading it, it makes them sit up and take notice. It makes them remember your brand. It makes you come to their mind when they're ready to buy your products or services that you do. Now, a lot of people thought of those two things. The third thing is, of course, generate leads. Now, none of that is new. All of those things are things that we want. I think what I'm urging people to think about and to invest in is to work at content that does all three at the same time. That's that's good for your SEO, that meets your SEO goals, your keyword goals, whatever those are. But is so amazing and useful, or entertaining, whatever fits your brand. That it builds the reputation of your brand. It's not just content to attract people there. It does something once they get there. And third, that it generates leads or sales. That it leads people toward wanting to do business with you, if not immediately, then sometime in the future. So keep that triple play in mind for your content in 2017.
Rebecca Lieb, analyst and strategic advisor at RebeccaLieb.com, thinks that not enough businesses are documenting their content marketing strategy.
So my number one marketing tip recommendation strategy for 2017 is, would you please, marketers, already document a content strategy? We're still seeing, years into conducting this research, that close to 70% of marketers don't have a documented content strategy, but nearly 100% of you are actually committing content marketing without a strategy. But without that strategy, you don't know what goals you're trying to achieve, you don't know how to measure your progress, you don't know what tools and resources you need. So you have to get this stuff down on paper or into the cloud and document it. I think one reason that marketers don't have a strategy yet is they fear that somehow if they write this stuff down, it becomes like tablets. It's immutable and can never, ever, ever change. You can always change a strategy. So what I'm here is, as today, is the angel of permission. I give you permission to change and adjust and amend that strategy as your needs and your goals evolve. But please, we've seen this tactic with websites, with email, with search, with social media. You need to have a strategy before you start exercising the tactics. So that's my wish, hope, dream, and recommendation for 2017. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share it.
And Alex Tucker, an inbound marketing and demand generation specialist at practiceweb.co.uk, emphasises the importance of organising content to support the buyer journey.
I'm looking at how we can help people to organise their content so that it supports the buyer journey. So what I would encourage you to do is to think about how your prospect, whatever your product or service, is likely to be in one of three states. So at the first state, they're going to be, they don't even know they've got a problem. They have completely unidentified needs. And then at the second step, they may have identified a problem, but they either don't have the time, the money to do anything about it. They might not have the information, or just not care enough. It might just not be that urgent. And then the third stage would be they're actively looking for something. So at the first stage, the content that we need to provide them is just our most useful content. We need content that makes their life easier. And at the second stage, this is all about social proof. So the best thing we can do to kind of bring people closer to us, where they know they have some kind of problem but they're not doing anything about it, is to think about our strategy for case studies, testimonials, ratings, reviews, and all of those good things. And then the final step, where they're actively seeking a solution, this is content that proves value. So in the consumer world, this is our offer, our sample. In the B2B world, it might be your kind of free consultation for our kind of professional services clients. So those are, if you can optimize those three kind of content types to draw people through your marketing funnel, you're going to be getting much higher engagement with your content marketing. And kind of final tip is have a look at the channels. Now, Google's kind of published an interactive tool based on a lot of data they've got about what channels are working in different industries. So if you search Google for I think it's Google buyer journey or customer journey, you'll find that interactive tool on Think with Google. It's going to tell you which channels people are using as they move through the kind of buyer journey. So you can kind of match those to the content types you need to produce and really optimize your content marketing efforts for conversion all the way through.
For Natalie Sisson, the suitcase entrepreneur, planning your content is a key element of success over the coming year.
It's a little bit bigger than some of the smaller focus ones, which I love as well. But for me, it is to get your content marketing and editorial calendar all planned out, like in this month. So it sounds like a big deal, but actually just jotting down your themes for each month, what you're going to cover on your podcast, your blog, your platform, in your emails. Because the minute you have your themes set up for the years and you know what you're going to be talking about, you can actually create everything else and flow with it. So you know what promotions you're doing, you know what social media you're going to be putting out, you know how your content's going to flow, what you can be writing out in emails. And I have a free calendar. If people want to grab it, I can give you the link later. But I just think this is the most important thing to be able to do. Just put it into your template, set up your year ahead, and feel really in control and focused.
But content marketing success isn't just about producing more and more content. Kevin Indig from Kevin-indig.com actually advises on getting rid of some of your existing content.
Yes, my top tip is related to SEO, and it is called pruning. It is a method that is comparable to cutting off the weak branches from a tree in order to make the whole tree stronger. That's how you can imagine it. And why would you want to do that? To improve your overall rankings for your important pages. Second of all, to not become panda food, because the panda algorithm targets weak pages in terms of thin content and so on. Third of all, to save your users from actually seeing bad content coming from search, because we all know how sensitive bad experience nowadays is. And fourth of all, to save your Google crawl resources. So how would you actually do that? So first of all, you have to identify those weak pages. And indicators for weak pages could be bad user signals like bounce rate, time on site, pages per visit, and of course, weak traffic, meaning no traffic, no lifetime traffic in a certain time span, or no rankings at all, right? So you'd want to have an overview of which of those pages are performing poorly. And with your analytics tool, you can use the Google Search Console for stuff like click-through rate. And you can, of course, use your rank tracking tool and export a list of all your pages that have rankings and match that against the list of all your pages. And then with the last step, you would then set those weak performing pages to meta no index, or you could exclude them from being crawled in the robust TXT, or you could simply improve them, rework the content, and provide them a better user experience. Or your final option is to consolidate those weak performing pages with well-performing pages in the hope to just rank for more keywords and better for those you're already ranking for in general.
Another man keen on managing content, both on-site and off-site, and the links between those pieces of content, is Laurent Bourlet from laurentbourlet.com.
Well, it's a tip that goes back maybe like 15 years ago. But it's still going on. And the thing about the French Touch SEO is that we went beyond what you guys actually achieved. Meaning, you know today that keywords are not enough. You got to go beyond keywords, look at concept, ideas, blah, blah, topics. But that's still about on-page SEO. On-page SEO, people figured out that it's not enough to just talk about the keyword. You got to talk about a whole bunch of other words surrounding the keyword to make the page stronger. But what we found out is that beyond the page, all the other pages also account for very much of the power of that page, and how the pages are linked together with some kind of semantic affinity is the key. And in France, we got already like a bunch of tools, and it's basically becoming like a best practice. And on the other side of the pond, you are still missing one part of the solution. But if you speak French, you can try to find the information. Otherwise, you got to wait a few days, a few weeks until we come out and explain it to you. But basically, before we get to explain it, you can experiment yourself with trying to surround the page with other pages that relate to the topic. Beyond topical SEO, I call that the topical mesh. And topical SEO is more about on-page SEO, and the topical mesh is everything around the page, on-site, but everything around. And basically what's going on off-page with, trust flow is also going on inside. That's my tip.
And Mark Pack, Associate Director at Teneo Blue Rubicon, has a relatively straightforward tip that helps with bringing context to your content for search engines.
My top tip is to do with link building, and lots of people quite rightly still pay a lot of attention to link building, but often forget that just as you're creating and winning over new links, actually links rot at the other end, and so as you're getting new links in, you're losing links out the back end as well. And particularly when you're adding links to your content to external sites to add that touch of authority that Google and other search engines really love. Think carefully about how long lasting the page or the piece of content you're linking to is likely to be. If it's not likely to be long lasting, better to link somewhere else, so that search engines in 6 months and 12 months time don't find a broken link but still find a functioning link.
Talking about links and the impact that they can have on your online success, Laura Hogan from Rice Media advises readers not to underestimate the value of Google's disavow tool. Next up, Andy Drinkwater, an SEO consultant at IQ SEO, provides his opinion on how to improve your outreach.
Well, I'm actually going to, for a change, I'm going to not talk about technical SEO, because one of the big areas that, I live on Twitter, and one of the areas that I see people complaining about all the time is outreach and the emails that people will get on a daily basis, sometimes many times a day. And it's very clear that still there is a lot of confusion around what makes good outreach. And I don't think that good outreach needs to necessarily be complicated, because a lot of people will just sort of send a blanket email out and hope that they get some sort of feedback, some sort of response back from it as well. And in actual fact, the one thing that's missing is the part of the personal journey when it comes to outreach as well. And that is whereby you actually pick up the phone and you make contact with somebody. And I've been doing this for a number of years now with sort of great success with all kinds of institutes. And there's universities, there's colleges, there's where you wouldn't necessarily just send a blanket email to. You need to actually do a little bit of digging, find out who you need to talk to. Don't just assume that by sending an email out, they're going to be interested in what you've got to say, because chances are they won't. So have something ready that's going to be of interest to them. Don't just assume that you're going to automatically gain a link from somebody. You're automatically going to start building some sort of like a rapport with somebody over email, because chances are it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen very much. So I would certainly say, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Do a little bit of digging around, do a little bit of research, find out who you need to be talking to, and pitch yourself as whatever sort of services that you're actually offering. Don't just automatically go in there guns blazing and say, I want to link. Proposition yourself as a resource. Don't sort of just go in there and say, right, I want to link to my website, because we all know how those end up as well. So yeah, pick up the phone and don't be afraid to talk.
Chapter 7, Content Marketing Strategy Summary. Invest more in content than you currently are. Think SEO value, brand value, and leads prior to having the content produced. Document your content marketing strategy before focusing on the tactics. Organize your content to support the buyer journey. Put together an editorial calendar with your content plan for the year. Prune your content. Determine your underperforming content and consider de-indexing or combining underperforming pages. Research how your proposed content compares with content that already exists. Try to only link out to evergreen content so that your links are still valid in the future. Try focusing on just one area of your site with the disavow tool. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone when conducting outreach. You can get your copy of Digital Marketing in 2017, the book, over at digitalmarketingin2017.com. Just scroll down, click on the orange order button, and you can choose from ordering the paperback or the Kindle edition on either Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk. Then, when you've ordered, come back to digitalmarketingin2017.com to claim your bonuses.